This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. When it comes to Social Security, there's 3 new proposals that could give a higher monthly payout for Social Security beneficiaries. I'll go over that. Also, Thanksgiving direct payment in 5 days, $1,600 to $4,194. Republicans are thinking about increasing the age eligibility to 70 for Social Security and Medicare. When it comes to the economy, looks like President Biden and the White House are taking credit for the decreased inflation. I'll play the video clip from the White House economic advisor. And there's 3 states in the Midwest that are giving out stimulus checks for the month of November, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel for more daily, straight-to-the-point updates on matters that financially matter to you. So it looks like here, Republicans want to push Social Security Medicare eligibility to age 70. Let me know your thoughts on that. Is that a good idea, bad idea? If you're already on Social Security or Medicare, it's not really going to affect you, but most likely will affect me later on in life. Is this a good idea? So now as Republicans are close to winning back control of the House in the midterm elections, some lawmakers are embracing plans for overhauling the programs, including raising the age for seniors to claim benefits to 70 years old. Now, this isn't a law or a proposal, an official proposal. It's not getting voted on yet. They're just kind of, I guess, throwing these ideas around. But it was developed by the Republican Study Committee, and it could or could not happen. Just because the Republicans want it and they control the House doesn't mean it could pass in the Senate or even have the president sign off on it. So this is more or less a proposal, but I'm curious, what do you think about your thoughts on that? And then here, 3 proposals to shore up the Social Security program and 1 plan to cut it. So basically, what it's saying here is the USDA is depleted. So the old age survivors and disability insurance, that could run dry by 2035. And what they're saying here is the proposal would push out the depletion of that until 2052 and reduce the federal budget deficit by $12 trillion over the next 75 years. So that's one way of doing it. And then another thing here saying the bill also aims to improve the fairness of Social Security program by having the annual cost of living adjustment, the COLA, calculated in a way that more accurately considers the expenses that are more in common with retirees' lives. This would increase annual COLA adjustments. So most likely a higher COLA, because the current COLA isn't really putting factors in for those who are living on fixed income, elderly, compared to a young working professional. They're in the same category, which doesn't really make sense at the moment. And then also talking about the extra $200 per month. So the bill also proposes to raise Social Security benefits by $200 per month and to require individual millionaires and billionaires to pay 12.4% tax rate, up from the current 6.2% individual rate and equivalent Social Security taxes that self-employed workers currently pay. So that one's probably the most popular one, the extra $200 per month or $2,400 a year. What is going on with that? I'll give you an update in a moment, but first, there's one plan to cut the benefits. So, what it's saying here is the Republican Study Committee, which represents 157 out of the 211 House Republicans, has suggested several cuts to Social Security in its proposed fiscal year 2023 budget. So there may or may not be cuts. The Republicans said that they won't cut it. Democrats have. Now that the midterm elections, I'm sure we'll see the truth of what's actually going on with that. Back to the bill that would pay an additional $200 per month for Social Security recipients. Still in Congress, maybe now that the midterm elections are done, then things can actually get done in Congress and not just say things to try to get a vote. So now we'll see what the truth is of both the Democrats and Republicans, what they actually plan on doing and what action they're taking. They said a lot of things to get votes during the midterm elections, but are they actually going to take action on it? That's the real thing right here. We're going to find out. I'll keep you updated. Then also Thanksgiving direct payment in 5 days. Will you be one of 70 million Americans to get $1,600 to $4,194 payout? So this is coming from the SSA, Social Security Administration. We'll send out checks from $1,600 to $4,194. Basically, if your birthday falls between All right, so people whose birthday is between the 11th and the 20th are going to get their Social Security checks on November 16th, just a few days away. And then those born between the 21st, 31st this month are going to get the checks November 23rd. So that's a day before Thanksgiving. And that is actually the day of my ankle surgery. So yeah, that's basically what it's talking about here. And whatever your Social Security payout is now for 2022, it will still be that. Payments won't increase until January when the COLA kicks in. And then stimulus payments are coming to these Midwest states in November. So the states that are talking about here, constantly hearing different state stimulus checks, but the Illinois Family Relief Plan, this one is going to give out $50. Couples could get $100. And actually, no. Yeah. Okay. And then dependents, up to 3 dependents can also be claimed for an extra $100 each. And then Indiana giving $125 per person. And and then because of paper shortage, there was a delay. And in that time, the governor upped the payment by $200 to $325 a person, or $650 for couples filing jointly. And then we have the Minnesota Hero Pay. So this is was going to pay out $750, but it's actually less now. And payments are, I guess, started out in October, but they're still going out, more on the way. So those are the 3 Midwest states that are going on right now with stimulus checks. And then Biden says his economic plan is showing results, vows to fight inflation, saying we're on the right track. So now that the inflation data came out, that it is 7.7%, a little bit lower than 8.2%, still pretty high in general. President Biden taking credit for that. But what does the economic advisor to the White House have to say? Take a look at Brian Dees right here.
I'm sure you guys are very pleased to see this report. The take from the market, Brian, is that the Fed won't have to do as much tightening to fight inflation if we are really starting to see it come down. Do you agree with that?
Well, certainly this was a welcome piece of news, and it does represent progress. We saw that both on headline and core inflation, deceleration month over month. And when you look under the hood, particularly in core inflation, you saw some important areas like owner-occupied rent, which is an area that takes more time for price transition mechanism to start to move through. You saw some deceleration in inflation in that context as well. And for things that matter to American households, I think the deceleration in inflation in food at home, at the grocery store, is a welcome indication and consistent with what we have been hearing in retail and grocery channels of at least some softening over the course of the fall. So I think that is all positive sign. And at the same time, the rate of inflation is too high, and we're going to have to stay at this and stay focused on bringing prices down. I think that's what you heard from the president. That'll continue to be our principal focus in terms of the tools and the levers that we have here to keep making progress on bringing prices down.
As an economist, do you think we truly have seen the peak at this point? And I ask because we just got a reading from the Atlanta Fed GDP predictor showing that we're tracking 4% GDP, a potential acceleration here of the economy, which could bring up inflation again.
Well, look, I think that it is welcome that we're seeing some deceleration, certainly and absolute price declines in certain goods categories as well. And at the same time, we have to keep at this and stay focused on needing to see those price declines persist across time. And certainly there can be unexpected setbacks. There can be bumps in the road. And so we're going to, as we say, even in the months where we see more welcome data and also less welcome data, you never want to over-index too much on any individual 1 month of data. So we'll try to keep looking in the aggregate. But I do think that if you look across the economy, you are seeing some important signs of the resilience of the economic recovery in the labor market and in the broader economy, while we're also seeing some reduction in price pressures as well. That's the dynamic we want to see continue. It's the dynamic that the president has been talking about for some time now, this transition to more steady, stable growth. And so that's certainly what we want to see. And certainly this data gives us more confidence that that's what we will see going forward.
So it sounds like you're not willing to say we've peaked.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to say exactly what we're seeing, which is we are seeing moderation and deceleration in these numbers, and we're seeing it in some areas that I think are good indications of what may come as well. The future is uncertain. We face a complicated global environment, and so both at both the headline and the core, we're just going to stay focused on what we can control. The good news is that some of the things that we're seeing, for example, on healthcare, health insurance, on prescription drug prices, on energy prices, policies that we have already enacted are going to start to take effect and help to provide additional price reductions here in the next set of weeks and months. So that's positive as well.
What are your thoughts there? Is there more to be done, and will it be done? Let me know your thoughts when it comes to the midterm elections. Now that they're pretty much over, Democrats have accepted defeat in the House. The Senate, surprisingly, I guess they haven't fully counted it yet. It's already Friday. Elections were Tuesday. So still, jury's out on that still. But when it comes to what are the Democrats going to do, take a look at what Cory Booker has to say about that.
And I guess that's what I would go back to the senator with. What lies ahead? What do we have to look forward to in the lame duck session with legislation? What are going to be the Democrats' priorities?
Well, for me, fundamentally, we have to do a couple things. We have to fund the government. We have to get the defense authorization done. But I'm really hoping we get back to the basics. Probably the best policy that Joe Biden and the Democrats have done that I'm really proud with, joined with Bennett and Brown, senators from Ohio and Colorado, was the expansion of the child tax credit. It actually was the biggest middle class tax cut our country has ever had for middle class and working class people, cut poverty in this country by close to 40%. I know there's going to be a lot of Republicans that are going to be pushing a lot more tax extenders and tax breaks. I'm hoping that we can get some deal done where for working folks, they get to keep more of their paycheck. And for the most vulnerable children, we help them out.
All right. So great to see you. Senator Cory Booker, as always, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's great to be on. Thank you for having me.
So what are your thoughts on what Cory Booker has to say? There is still a lot to be done. Hopefully Democrats and Republicans could finally work together, although based on how things have been going over the past few years, maybe not likely. I'm sure the moderates will get along, but the far left, the far right seem to always be at odds with each other. That is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Belle's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you one thing that is so funny about me. I'm back! So, can I tell you something else? When you feel really a little bit down, you should call a friend or a family member, because then you could feel more better. Like I have this here. That's all I want to speak to. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Hopefully you have a great weekend. We got birthday parties and a few other house projects we got to take care of. Hopefully your weekend is good as well. And yeah, if you want to check out any of my other videos, my other channels, click right up here. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Be safe. Thank you for watching.